Welcome to Charts Today Energy, and today's edition for Monday, the 15th of October, comes to you from London. And most products rising this morning, seeing quite a good move there in the market. A lot of turmoil in other financial markets, and just looking at the macro, we're seeing the dollar down slightly this morning, euro just weakening, sterling quite badly hit against the dollar, and the euro on the basis of Brexit talks coming to nothing. We're seeing US futures heading lower this morning, so it does suggest that stock markets are going to have another bad start to the week. Brent crude is only up about 0.5%, so that's a fairly muted response to the Saudi situation. Gold looking strong, making 3-month highs this morning. Bonds fairly steady. So taking a look at the energy mix, we start by looking at Brent crude. Still looking very bullish on the medium and long-term charts, but short-term we are bearish. No clear downside targets. We do have an upside target to 86.80 on the 1-minute chart. We need to move above $82 to activate that. And again, we've got this target $86 if we move higher than that 82 level. 94 is activated, so that's looking pretty bullish on the long-term targets, and again a shortness of short-term targets. The correlation with the dollar, the 65-day correlation on the daily chart, is just slightly negative, so less bearing there on the currency and fairly flat on the 60-minute chart. WTI, we're seeing also looking higher, upside targets to $80, $81 here on the longer term charts, 74.50, and on the very short term charts 74.80. So we are seeing upside potential, but at the moment we're still in this bearish mode below the cloud, and we've seen how this morning we've just deteriorated slightly from higher levels. So crude oil just selling off a little bit there. Looking at US nat gas, we're seeing here that we are still looking pretty bullish on the medium-term chart after the last few weeks. Not quite made it through on the long-term chart. We need to get through this $3.30 level to be convincingly long-term bullish. Short-term, we're turned bearish. Looking at the correlation with crude, it's fairly flat on the short-term chart, but still very strong on the daily chart. So we are seeing some signs of that. Gas sold off this morning, US gas. We are seeing a recovery in the price. We've got $3.30, $3.36. So again, if we can break that $3.30 level, that target not yet activated, 334 here, not yet activated. We do have a long-term target of 375 and 350. So we are seeing upside potential, but US gas has struggled before. Looking at New York products, we're seeing here higher as well, but short-term bearish, just following the oil mix down, and RBOB also just lower there. So that was heating oil. Now looking at RBOB, just struggling on that short-term chart. Looking at coal this morning, coal up nearly 1%, so looking stronger there, rising on geopolitical concerns. We're seeing here we're very highly correlated with crude oil at the moment, some 91% correlated on the 65-day correlation, looking strong with good upside targets and recovering off the lows last week. We're seeing here just the moves this morning as we push higher. No clear short-term upside targets. Again, your Trayport data will probably give you a better heads up with more liquidity. I'm looking at Thomson Reuters Icon here at the moment. So looking at emissions, this is the ICE contract, looking stronger this morning, and up some 0.1%. But the interesting thing is these upside targets, there's a lot of them, and it does suggest emissions will push higher. Still bullish long term. Short term, we've got work to do. Correlation with crude is quite strong, so if we see rises in the crude price, that will probably affect emissions. Taking a look at European gas, we've got MBP up some 2% this morning. It's a good jump there. No clear short-term upside targets at the moment. Longer term, we do have upside targets. So one as high as 77p, so we are looking stronger. Still have work to do to get into short-term bullish mode, but we're seeing seeing the recovery here this morning quite sharp, so looking quite good there. Again, your Trayport data will give you a different set of targets. Looking at TTF, we do see the targets here on the short-term chart. We had targets to 27.40, 27.60. Those targets given and met. 28.95 is the next upside target. That's some 6.3% higher. So TTF looking stronger this morning, and we're seeing that steady rise as we march up the hill and recovery there. NCG not looking quite as strong. Short term, we've seen the fall away there last week. And if we look at Italian gas, also had a reasonable day on Friday, but not looking as good as TTF. German power looking strong again this morning, up 0.75%. And we're not quite through on the short-term chart, but we've seen this steady improvement over last week, and we've got an upside target here on the short-term chart of 55.60. So that's looking pretty strong. Again, this is on Thomson Reuters Icon data. Your Trayport data on the German power price will produce better targets, and on the 60-minute 56 euros. So we are seeing some 3 to 5% upside potential. So keep an eye on those charts. But again, really important that we hold this €50 mark on German power. We've gone into a bit of a sideways consolidation over the last few weeks. Taking a look at French power, we're seeing here also holding its strength. Long-term upside targets are still there for French power. And taking a look at the Nordic power price, we're seeing much the same thing. Your UK power also coming out of the doldrums, but obviously German power driving things, and Dutch power also looking strong, and Czech power also pushing higher. So Polish power actually had a pretty bad week last week, obviously less liquid, and Italian power also struggled a little bit. Spanish power, much less liquid, but we are seeing it's holding its bull trend, so still looking relatively positive. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.